years has been the rise of white sprinters.
Finally, the Australian goes under 10 seconds.
Sounds a bit silly, it kind of is, but I've done the Asian version already, so it's fair game. Since 2022, we've seen 4 white, or if you want to be technical, athletes of European descent, go below the 10-second barrier, 2 of them being from 2025. The first was Iowa University's Kalen Walker, who at the 2025 NCAA
That nigga's mixed. Yo, he's clearly a nigga, am I wrong?
Instantly separated from the field with his hot start and held on to a 9.94 second clocking, the second fastest time by a white man ever. He also razzled the
second fastest from a white man ever? What the fuck?
Taking home the NCAA Big Ten title in the 100 meters, but easily his most impressive race wasn't even on the track. In a packed out college football stadium, he'd crushed the NFL Combine 40-yard dash record with a 4:15. NFL players are quick, but there's a gap between even them and college track speed. And the other side,
yo, that's a nigga, yo. That is a nigga.
And college track speed.
Look at this nigga.
And the other sub 10 white man of 2025
now that's
came
a white
literally man. One day after Kalen Walker's 994. Australia's Lachlan Kennedy would take a trip to Kenya to race against one of the 10 fastest men in history,
I guess
and a
Kenyans
prodigy by Underwallaza, putting them both to sleep.
9:98 for Lachlan Kennedy.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, that white boy got it.
Goes under 10 seconds.
Bro, the white boy went to their turf and walked them niggas.
Equal fastest time by a white man in history. And this all came after
white
a
man was
controversial 6:43 60-meter time, making him the 10th fastest man ever over 60 meters. But it was done with a legal tailwind of 1.6 meters per second. That's right, I did say legal, but it was just weird, since historically 60 meters are usually run indoors. Until these last couple years, in which Australia, who has no indoor tracks, added 60-meter races to their outdoor season for World Championship qualifying purposes, in which Kennedy rocked up to and took a World Championship silver medal. Controversy sorted.
On the left, but on the far side, oh my word, I think it's Lachlan Kennedy.
And stepping outside of 2025, in 2023, Cole Beck, a college football player and NFL prospect, would go 9.97 at the NCAA Division I Finals, in the semis. He would then get certifiably clapped in the finals. And Matthew Bowling, very early into the 2022 NCAA season, would run 9.98, equal 4th fastest white man in history with Kennedy.
Matthew Bowling of Georgia, flying home, 9.98.
So in 4 years, we've seen 4 white men run sub 10 seconds, twice as many as the 40 or so years of modern track that preceded it. Yeah, it's not a lot in the grand scheme of sprinting, but it's a huge rise for us missing melanin brothers. And as for the 6th athlete, it was pre-2020, from a low-key race in Madrid in 2018.
The talker is melanin?
Italy's Filippo Tortu would barely sneak under 10 with 9.99. Getting slayed by Su Bingtian in the process. So that just leaves one more time. And somehow, after a consistent rise by white sprinters in the last decade, the fastest white man ever was the very first to do it. If you've noticed anything about the current batch of white sprinters, it's that even when they're winning, by the end of the race, they're starting to lose ground. It is such a rarity to find a sprinter that isn't of African descent that has the top end speed to compete with the best. And in fact, we hadn't ever seen one until Christopher Lemaitre.
Oh shit.
As you might expect, the Americans dominate the rankings in the 200 meters. But blistering round the bend there is Robert Herring from the left. And also the Jamaican having a good run. That's an Ashmead it is who leads with 50 meters to go. But Christopher Lemaitre of France is powering through in the middle. And Lemaitre, has he got there? And
oh wait, no, that didn't get France.
Lemaitre, nearest to the camera.
Oh yeah, he had it. At age 18 and behind the veil of this shitty 240p video, Lemaitre was already proving himself different. An electric 6th to 1st hawk down at the 2008 Under-20 World Championships. Dare I say, elite top end speed already. But this was a 200 meter, so let's see how he fares in the 100.
Oh shit.
Yep, it's the same thing. Literally creating his entire lead in the second half of the race. But did I mention at this point in time, it was only his 2nd year into running track seriously. Now that's some horrifying talent.
Yo, this white
so
man
of course, he'd only built on it into his 3rd and 4th year of track, 10 flat becoming his bread and butter, beating the best Europe had to offer, both at the junior level and at the senior level.
Away they go, no problems at the starting side, and Lemaitre's got some work to do to get on terms. It's Dwayne Chambers, Lemaitre's coming, Lemaitre takes it! Goal to the Frenchman!
But on the world stage, this was the Bolt era after all, he would get beat like this at times.
Well, Asafa Powell got a terrific start. Asafa Powell's absolutely burying this field. Powell is away!
But amongst everyone else who wasn't Bolt, Powell, Gatlin, Gay or Blake, he was riding with the best of them. So it was only a matter of time. And in early 2010 at the French National Championships, Lemaitre would run his first sub 10 second time, 9:98.
Devant, Christophe Lemaitre, qui va s'imposer, 9:99,
completely building his lead in the back half. And this opened the floodgates. 9:98 and 9:97 in Rieti in back-to-back races, only convincingly losing to Nesta Carter, the 12th fastest man ever in his fastest career race, and Ryan Bailey having his fastest career race, who would come 5th in the most famous 100-meter race in history. And in June of 2011, he would go berserk. 3 sub 10 second races back to back to back, and some pretty entertaining races. One of them crushing Europe's best again at the European Team Championships in a new French record of 9:95, beating Dwayne Chambers, a World Championship medalist in the 100 meter and 2-time 4th place finisher as well. And the other at a Diamond League meeting in Lausanne, replicating the same 9:95 but getting absolutely gutter stomped by Asafa Powell again, and also beat pretty convincingly by Jamaica's Michael Frater. But breaking down this race,
that Powell nigga is kind of insane.
His way back from 5th to 3rd in the second half, even beating out Nesta Carter. Remember him, the guy who whipped him like, I don't know, a minute ago? Verifying his world-class finishing speed. And cementing that narrative, at the 2011 French Championships, he would downright obliterate his French compatriots and own national record in typical Lemaitre fashion. 9:92, all his work done in the
almost 9:98
race. At age 21, he would run the fastest time ever run by an athlete of full European descent, the white man 100-meter world record. The future was thought to be bright.
For who doesn't know, Christophe Lemaitre is a French guy, and he was the first white guy to break
10 seconds. Yeah.
They were putting so much pressure on him to beat us,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think he would have been better.
Yeah, he would have been way better.
They gave him time to develop.
Yeah.
And he would never run under 10 seconds again. And here's a crazy little stat.
Damn.
In that 2-year span, by age 21, he had run more sub 10 second times on his own than the rest of white men collectively in history.
Oh.
For now, anyway. And to be fair, it's not like he sucked afterwards. At those 2011 World Championships, he would come 4th in a very lucky 100-meter final, not involving Bolt. Powell,
so what's
Gay,
like?
Gatlin.
What is the peak age to run the fucking to run? What is the peak age for runners? 27 to 30 for elites. So 27, late 20s, 27, 30. Wait, so this nigga,
and in the 200 meter,
theoretically he should be in his peak right now.
Bolt and Walter Dix, the 7th fastest over this distance ever, and a blazing 19.80.
Dix in second place, Lemaitre third, but there's only one Usain Bolt.
The 2nd fastest 200 meter time ever by a white man. But injuries did dull the rest of his career, stopping him from chasing faster times, but not stopping him from the occasional global medal. Now let me ask you this. Why are white men so slow? These are the 6 fastest white men plotted on a simple graph. And don't get me wrong, these times are blazing fast, but just not in a historical context.
Yo, I don't give a fuck. White man, black man, whatever man, yo, Sandman, nigga, somebody needs to be fucking Noah Lyles, bro. That nigga is so fucking corny. That nigga is a cornball, bro. I don't give a fuck. Yo, beat that lame nigga. This lame nigga keeps coming on my screen and shit.
100 fastest men to ever exist, plus our extra white guys, but they didn't make the top 100, so I'll remove them now. How many of these athletes do you think aren't of African or Caribbean descent?
Wait, they didn't make the top 100? The fastest white mans?
One is Asian, that's China's Su Bingtian, who has a cult fame at this point with his monstrous performance at the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games, landing him as the 22nd equal fastest man in history. And the other, of course, is Christopher Lemaitre, ranked the 79th equal fastest of all time. Now, while we do have this cool yet problematically keyed graph, there's a couple things I want to add. First, Bolt was a freak. No elaboration needed.
Holy shit!
There are more high schoolers on this list than whites, Asians, Latin Americans, or Middle Eastern athletes combined. And of course, there are also some ethnically mixed athletes. Lamont Marcel Jacobs, the 16th fastest athlete of all time, his mother Italian and his father African American. Jimmy Vicourt is 33rd with a French father and West African mother. Michael Norman, sharing the exact same time as Vicourt, has a Japanese mother and African American father. And the last, scraping in as one of the 12 athletes who share the 89th fastest man in history spot, is Oceanic record holder Patrick Johnson, who is a mix of Irish and Aboriginal? Well, I guess that makes 3 athletes of African descent. Regardless, the trend is 97% of the world's fastest 100 men are at least 50% black. Putting it bluntly, I'm not sure how received this video will be, but it is what it is. And when we look at a simple pie chart of racial demographics globally, African and Caribbean athletes are overperforming massively, while everyone else is severely underperforming. Asians and Europeans making up 70% of the population, and that's not even considering about 61% of North America is white, yet they are only 2% of the world's fastest men. But why is that? Because truthfully, there isn't really an excuse. The best example is just looking at any other event in the sport. In terms of world records, Jakob Ingebrigtsen is collecting middle distance records like Pokemon cards. John Edwards, who was built and looked like an office worker, has held the triple jump world record for 30 plus years. And not only is Mahuchik from the Ukraine, the women's high jump world record holder, but both world champion high jumpers this year are of European descent and from Oceania. Yeah, we're like that. And that also makes this movie look a little silly. Even distance running, which has been so dominated by East African countries, if you're an Ethiopian in an American high school, they will make you run.
If you are Ethiopian and you go to high school and the cross-country coach finds out, they just make you join the team. And he was right. That was really good.
Yet, we still see a diversity in champions and podiums in the modern era. 2025 being the best example of this with our 5k and 10k world champions. But even when we talk women's sprinting and create the exact same plot graph as the men's, 17 of the 100 fastest women ever are of European heritage, which means white women are overperforming per population. And I don't really know what to make of all this, but my point is, for some reason beyond white people supposedly being unathletic, because they aren't, white men just can't sprint. Funnily enough, Outperform released a video recently talking about what makes somebody fast, talking about constantly debated topics on the sprinting Reddit, and more importantly sports science, limb length, fast twitch muscle fibers, the speed gene. It's actually a really detailed video and I recommend checking it out. But in short, the video concluded that while we see trends involving these genetics, there are elite athletes who don't have these genes at all. As an example, they found a world championship shot putter with majority slow twitch muscle fibers. Basically, these singular genes don't mean squat diddly, and speed is a much more complicated equation not even sports science understands. And you can test your gene.
Yo, that's so, I want to see my genes, nigga. I want to see if I'm like a one of one human, because I think I am. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I don't get why we don't start making fucking superhumans, bro. We know that we could breed and fucking mix breed and create like stronger humans with genes and shit. Yo, imagine if a billionaire, instead of having a fucking child sex ring, imagine he was breeding to make a fucking superhuman. Tall, fast twitch fibers, the fucking all the good genes, But all the fucking billionaires are touching kids, my nigga. Yo, we can have Superman right now. These niggas are touching fucking kids. But we never know. I just might be Superman. I just need to take a fucking test. Yeah, the first guy is mixed. Come on, bro. Yo, I know it. I fucking know it.
Measure your limbs all you want, but at the end of the day, you won't know you're fast until you give it a real effort.
Yes. Bro, like billionaires can really force niggas to breed. Well, not force, but give them money. and try to make a cool nigga out of that, bro. Like, what the fuck are they doing with their money? Damn, bro. Yo, imagine like fucking at least 5 generations of breeding superhumans. We would dead ass have Superman right now. Bro. Imagine generations of just breeding fucking fast twitch fibers, strong ass fibers, fucking strong ass legs, arms, whatever. We would have fucking Superman flying right now. Damn, bro. We're doing something wrong. We're doing something definitely wrong, my nigga, and I don't know what it is. Well, no, I do know. Them niggas are fucking touching kids. But, like, damn. Yo, world is so, like, this world is so fucking ass.